I want to welcome Agile XRM to the podcast. I've known the people at Agile XRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from Scotland. He works for Incremental Group. Well, he did as until yesterday as Microsoft 365 consultant. He's currently in his first year as an MVP. He describes himself as an analytical problem solver. I like that. You can find him on Twitter at is it Damien Bird 365 or his website damienbird365.com. I love the brand consistency there. Damien, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, it's Damien Bird 365. That's me. Well, I used to be called Damo back in the day of me playing cricket when I was a teenager. And when I started looking for a brand, I stuck Damien Bird into Google and saw that there were loads of different results that came up. And I thought, what could I do differently? And I went with Damien Bird 365. That seems to have stuck with me, so it's good.
I like it. So tell us a bit about you, as in, I know a bit about it, but naturally the audience wouldn't know so much about you. We've had chats over the last year or so. Tell us a bit about Scotland. Tell us a bit about family, life, what you do when you're not working, what you do to keep alive.
Yeah, well, I've lived in Scotland for most of my life. I consider myself Scottish these days. And my brothers are Scottish. I've got two tall brothers as well. We're both, or all three of us are over 6 foot, and big lads. And I have a family, a wife, 3 kids, 3 kids that I've sort of looked after since they were babies. My wife went back to work right from sort of 6 months, and I did the sort of role reversal, and I looked after the kids and did the classes and was the sort of dad that was at the lessons with all the mums, and that was my life. And I kept my job going. I worked part-time, worked remotely, and the last sort of 18 months career-wise is me being sort of getting a chance to see what's possible, what I'm capable of doing. So the things that I kind of like doing, I'm definitely a sporty person. I'd always been into cricket or squash or football, and then cycling and running. And that's where things kind of went wrong for me just 2 years ago when I was out on my bike, just a normal night, and I woke up on the road having had what was now suspected as a cardiac arrest. So it came as a bit of a surprise, to be honest, when you think you're in peak health. Yeah.
So what's that journey been for you in the last 18 months, as in, what was the outcome of that?
Yeah, so I've been incredibly busy at work. I've worked for the council, or I had worked for the council for 18 years, and I was pretty shattered. I was doing a rollout for Teams and SharePoint, and because of the lockdown, I'd done something like 15 days on the trot. I was migrating data and getting everyone onto Teams and onto SharePoint and fielding all the questions and dealing with our director and chief technical officer. And, there was a lot on my shoulders. And the wife came home from work and I said, look, I'm just going to go out for a little cycle and had this event. And then I spent 3 weeks kind of soul searching in hospital. It was lockdown, obviously. I couldn't get out of hospital. I couldn't see the kids, couldn't see the missus. And when I finally got a diagnosis, I was in complete denial. I was like, this cannot be me. And I spent 3 months probably like moping about and just thinking, why has this happened to me? Or what am I going to do next, sort of thing. And then realized that I could either just sit about and feel miserable or look for something to do. Sport was off the cards. I've been told categorically you cannot continue to do exercise because you've had a lucky escape. You've got a rare heart disease, but you need to look after what you've got. And then I suppose I started looking a bit more at the Power Platform, and then realized that I really enjoyed this stuff. And I still had in some ways, a bit of competition as well, because on the forum, you get these challenges, and I'm like, yes, this is a really good challenge. This is a meaty one. I want to get in there and solve this. And so that's kind of where it started with the forum and with the MVP journey. Was me. I had actually spoken to a recruitment consultant, and they'd said to me, tell me or show me the work you've been doing. And I was like, well, I can't really, because it's sort of hidden behind the scenes at work. And he said, well, can you not put together a blog or a YouTube? And I thought, I'll give this a go, yeah. And then here we are. It's just kind of happened. I don't know how.
I hope the listeners just picked up what you said there, right? Is that I find in the global marketplace that we now work in, that there's a need to make sure that you around your career are branding publicly, right? Adding value, contributing to the wider community. And it was interesting that Recruiter said, of course you can't reveal company secrets and company data and stuff like that, but hey, you can do a lot of blogging or YouTubing around solving problems that people might come across that, of course, never reveals who your employer is or anything like that, or who the client is you're working for. So I love that they gave you that advice, because that was smart advice.
Yeah, I do agree that for me it kind of woke me up, and it made me realize that if I started putting together this content, first of all, I'd be able to see, am I capable of doing these things, And it grew my confidence. And then I began to engage with people online, and then people came forward and started thanking me, and then started challenging me with new ideas, and it just kept growing and growing. And I mean, now pretty much every day of the week, someone's contacting me. I was speaking to a guy in the NHS today who's just called me at the end of the day and just said, seen one of your videos. I don't suppose you could help me sort of take it to the next level for my solution. It's like, yeah, sure. I'll just have a quick chat, and we just fire up Teams.
That is so cool. So tell us about what you've seen worked well, or what's worked well from what you're putting out there. Are you getting the best engagement in the Microsoft forums, or is it Twitter, or is it your YouTube or your blog? First of all, give us some stats around what you're doing in these spaces. How's your blog? Is your YouTube channel your primary?
Yeah, I think YouTube has become my favorite so far. I started off with the blog, and I actually started off with like an old domain that I had, and thought, this isn't going to take off. And then I had to quickly go and buy the domain for Damien Bird 365 and start moving across my articles. And I really regret not having that domain at the beginning, because there are lots of links on the forum to my old domain that don't forward. And again, it's on the to-do to sort of set up an auto forward, but it's just so much that's happening. So the blog was where I started, and then I moved on to the YouTube, but in parallel, I've still got the forum stuff. And I had a crazy month in the forum, actually, when I first started, because again, I thought, see how this goes, and you solve your first problem. You're like, yeah, I can solve people's problems. And then you get like 15 in a month, and you think, oh yes, I got 15. That's amazing. And then I set myself a target of 100. And I thought this would be totally
Wow, in a month.
crazy. Well, that's what I thought. I thought this would be totally crazy. I'll try and get 100. And you know what happened? I was firing on this sort of personal challenge I set myself, and then I got locked out the forum because Microsoft had done like an upgrade, and you had to accept the app for the forum in order to, when you signed in next time round, and I couldn't because I was using, I think, my corporate account, and they blocked that sign in. So I was desperately pleading to like John Levesque and others, saying, please, can you get me back on? And I got on after a few days, and I hit 153 solutions in the month. it was just mental. I just kept going and going and going. And yeah, my family didn't see much of me that month, but after that I calmed down, and sort of I do sort of 30, 50, something like that a month. I've not quite. I've not hit 500 yet, but I'm close to it. I'm about 450 or something now, I think. But then my YouTube is what I'm really enjoying, because I get the most engagement. A lot of people contact me now through the YouTube, and I can see the figures just rising. And like, you've got to get, say, 4,000 hours to sort of make it, in the year. I'm getting almost 2,000 hours a month now, and it's crazy. And you just see it just start picking up, and people start engaging and like posting comments, and I love, again, you get more challenges and people reaching out to you and saying, how would I do this and how would I do that? It's just.
And it creates a cycle, right? A cycle of, you've always got content to talk about because there's always new, fresh ideas. People have different challenges, different scenarios that you can address. So that's so good. So you mentioned at the start that you were working for counsel, and for our American folks that might be listening, that's kind of like a local body, a local government authority that's responsible for maintaining the city or the parish or the district that you might be in. So you obviously are not there now. Tell us about what was the transition, because, when we chatted back, I don't know, it might have been a year ago now, you were in council still and wondering whether you should stay in council. And tell me about what's happened between now and then.
So it was a big fear for me. I had only ever known the council, and I suppose if you look at my family as well, my dad was he worked for the council for his lifetime, and that was a secure job, and you don't want to go anywhere else. You've got a job for life. And I was big time scared of moving away from public sector, because they gave me that security and good holidays and pension and all those sort of things. And then you just start doubting yourself. Can I work in private sector? Am I good enough? And that's where some of the confidence came from doing these forum posts, is that actually the people that are interacting with me were not necessarily working in public sector. They were, from all walks of life, and at all levels as well. You were interacting with people throughout organizations with different ideas and problems to solve, and able to present them to them and help them understand and come up with solutions. So with the council, it was definitely a confidence thing about leaving. And I was kind of amazed by the community when I reached out to people, yourself and others, that took half an hour of their time and spoke to me and said, what are you fearful of? What's the worst that could happen? And put things into context for me and made me think. And then, I had a chat with the missus, and it was just like, I think I'm going to go for it. I think I'm going to, go for an interview, see what happens. And, I got offered the job. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. And then when I left, I thought I would sort of feel regret and what have I done? And that the sort of few days building up to this handing over my badge and everything. And actually, I just feel it was like the best thing I've done. It was like a whole new chapter for me, just a chance to go and do something different and prove myself. And I've really enjoyed that change, really enjoyed it.
What did your colleagues say? back at council in the day?
Like, I've been encouraged by my close peers. I think the thing that I found really quite difficult and frustrating working for a council, and everyone will say, "Oh, working for a council, all the bureaucracy and paper and blah." Yeah, I mean it's totally valid, and I tried to fight my corner and tried to get the team around me to adopt the new technology and try different things, but it just wasn't happening. And we had quite a quick turnover as well of chief officers, several over sort of 3 years, and they all kept coming in with their own ideas, and then they quickly left again. And I thought things are just never going to change, and I'm going to miss out if I stay here. So my really close colleagues that were kind of feeling the same, they were encouraging me, say just go for it. Some of them had even worked in private sector themselves, and they're like, you won't look back. At the end of the day, you're just another person, and they were right. And it was part of that bigger picture, me getting advice from all these different people, and then just having the confidence to jump.
Yeah, so good. What's your number one tool that you use in your job these days? Or one might be too refined. And I'm not talking about anything that Microsoft provide in their suite of products. I'm talking about what are the other things that you find yourself using often to do what you do?
It's a challenging one, that one. Beyond the Microsoft tools, God, I can't. I mean, one of my sort of new favorite tools is the Camtasia app for video editing. I was using the what was it? OBS. I was using OBS for doing like video recording.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I thought that in itself was amazing, but my videos were quite plain as a result. And then you get Camtasia for being an MVP, and I downloaded it and fired it up and thought, let's give this a go. And again, it's like every day you learn something new, not just necessarily on the Power Platform, but other technologies. And again, it's a massive, rapid learning experience with this tool. But I love how you can just quickly add the little flashy features to your film, to your videos and stuff. And I've actually done a few training videos recently for a client. I obviously haven't had feedback yet, but it felt good. It felt like, wow. I mean, I'm not producing amazing video content. I know that. I know I've got a lot to learn there, but I feel like I'm just gradually getting better. And I enjoy that. I feel that, things are improving. I'm learning still. So.
That's cool. I like it. Well, it's been great talking to you. Any advice you want to share before we wrap up for maybe other people considering is becoming an MVP something that's right for them, their career, and probably more about kind of what's the effort involved, because it's not just doing one or two things or I want it really badly, so I'm going to do something and then I'm not going to do it after I become an MVP, that type of thing. What's your advice?
Yeah, I mean, becoming an MVP for me, I almost like stumbled into this opportunity because, I was set that challenge by this recruiter. And I started putting together the content. And what happened for me was I discovered a world that I didn't know existed. Discovered a community of people that, again, I didn't know that existed. I thought that I worked in a council and I came home at the end of the day and I went to my family and that was it. But I've discovered a massive group of people now across the world, a massive group of people beyond that community, that close community that want to share with me and challenge me and interact with me. And I absolutely love that. That's the thing for me that I found and thoroughly enjoy. So for me, the first hurdle is like, can I do this? And you'll be surprised, I think, if you give this a go, the amount of people that will be grateful at any level, whatever content level you're producing at. There will be someone out there that will appreciate what you've done, even if it's that one person. And by doing that sort of content for others, you're going to improve your own skills, and you're definitely going to help others. You're going to speak with others. I've spoken to people in different countries, different languages. On the forum, I use Google Translate for some of the posts that don't get answered to. It is a lot of work. It is evenings. It's like, but I enjoy it. I enjoy that interaction with folk. And it's far better than sort of sitting on Facebook at night or, just twiddling your thumbs. You're doing something productive with your life, and you're learning a new trade, and you're inevitably getting much better at it as a result, accelerating that development by challenging yourself constantly, exposed to so much more technology by doing it through the community rather than just day-to-day work.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.